percentage of Rummy's budget is dedicated to cleanup, including waste management, district cleanup, beach cleanup, etc. The landfill management has 2.84 million guilders, which is an increase of 500 guilders for 2000. Oh, that's a mistake in the text. So it
could you
also
just repeat
needs
it
to
for
be
us so that we know we can take that into consideration?
by question 5 from MP Rolando Bryson. He asked, what percentage of Rummy budget is dedicated to cleanup, including waste management, district cleanup, beach cleanup, etc.? The landfill management has a budget of 2.884 million, which has an increase of 500,000. Yes, 500,000. In the document, it states 500 guilders. So
Noted.
it's 500,000 guilders for 2018. And garbage collection and district cleaning is 11,200. No, sorry, 11,200,000 guilders. Yes, for garbage collection and district cleaning. The total amount is about 2.8% of the total country budget, 500 million guilders, and about 40% of the total Rummy budget, which is 35 million guilders. Moving on to the next question. How did the minister come to the extra 1.7 million guilder figure for the budget addition? Was a draft budget made? How is the discussion going with the finance ministry on anticipated increase? An estimate was made by the Minister of Rummy based on the shortcomings identified in the contract in the assessment completed by SOAB in 2017. The shortcomings center on the amount of fill needed for the daily cover of the landfill and the deficient security of the landfill premises, as well as certain additional basic operational improvements that should be made in the management of the landfill. This recommendation for the increase of the budget was made for the budget of 2018, but could not be fully honored. The proposed increase has also not been taken up in the draft budget for 2019. In fact, the proposed budget amounts to a decrease in the budget for operational expense for the management of the landfill. The reason for this is the shortfall in government's revenues and the expectation that the investments to be made through the trust fund will be able to reduce some of the operational expenses for the management of the dump. Next question is the intention to increase the waste management contract? Is the intention to increase the waste management contract in any way? Is there an intention? I believe, sorry, that was a typo. At present, the contract for the landfill management is being prepared for public tender, and seeing the additional works expected for the health and safety plan and also the fire suppression, we anticipate that cost to go up. We anticipate that equipment will need to be purchased by St. Martin for operations and for fire depression in order to minimize the operational expenses of the management of the landfill. I will propose for these investments to be covered from the Recovery Trust Fund. However, we will anticipate an increase in the operational expenses for the landfill, considering the current size of the landfill and the amount of garbage to be processed. Furthermore, the district cleaning contracts will also be publicly tendered to start in January 2019, for which we have to await the tenders to see what this will mean for the budget. Next question is, what is the difference in scope of works between the former and present landfill contractor? There was no major differences in the terms of reference for the landfill management works. However, the works have evolved significantly in the sense that the space to work with has become less because of the amount of garbage entering into the landfill, and despite becoming much more difficult to maneuver and work with as a result of the slopes from the landfill. In addition, the current contractor underestimated the works and had a bad start with the project. The actual contract for the works was granted officially 3 months after the company had already taken over the works, which negatively impacted their ability to make timely investments.
Tell them, connecting you.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
The governor's speech, which is actually a reoccurring line for as long as we've been a country, and even before that, is the establishment of a gaming control board. You have just been to Aruba. You mentioned in your press statement there that's something you would be working on. What exactly is the status of putting a gaming control board in place? Is there regulation? Is it sufficient? And basically, when can we see this move from paper to actuality?
Well, thank you, Alita, for your question, of course. Good morning to the people of St. Martin. Last week, I attended the 3rd Annual Dutch Caribbean Anti-Money Laundering and Gaming Forum. It was duly represented by my person, a member of my cabinet, and 2 members of the Ministry of TIAT in particular. Like you said before, it has been on the books for quite some time, and even in my initial remarks as minister, I made clear that I am committed to the governing program. And with that, deeply rooted in that is the Gaming Control Board. So what has happened coming out of that forum, in addition just to participation, is actually bringing that forum to St. Martin. I've already designated target dates for that forum to be held on St. Martin, as within short, I intend to sign the MOU to solidify the forum coming to St. Martin. Preliminary, I'm looking at the dates of June 3rd to the 6th. With that said, what it will do is bring to St. Martin a more realistic impression of where we stand with the Gaming Control Board, pull in all stakeholders, not only from the casino industry, but also from the banking industry, as there is a strong cooperation needed between the 2 respective bodies. That is the reason for the forum of such a nature. So going forward, working with, for instance, Curacao, that already has a well-established gaming control board, is imperative that we reach out to our partners within the Dutch Caribbean to make sure that St. Martin is indeed fully prepared. Do I believe in over-regulation in terms of the gaming industry? Certainly not, because we have several casinos on island, 1. Two, we also have a responsibility to make sure that the livelihood of persons is protected. And three, overregulation only makes things even more complicated. So once we have that forum on St. Martin, I believe that is a very positive step going forward, and that already has the commitment from my person as minister. We will see then persons then starting to realize that indeed the formation of the Gaming Control Board is very important for the ministry and for government, and going forward that we make sure that all persons are duly involved. So at this stage now, it has been on the books for some time, but I am indeed committed to see it much further through this time around and its complete completion within short.
Because if I am to listen to what you just say, it appears as though there's nothing in place and that you require a forum to make sure that things are in place. And then now I have Minister De Weaver adding the fact that this is of urgency. So what exactly is there? Do we just have the names Gaming Control Board on our agenda and then there is nothing in place?
No, certainly not, Alita. And indeed, just to follow up on your question and give you a more deeper answer, indeed, certain steps have already been taken. And I do concur with my minister colleague, Minister De Weaver, in regards to the urgency of it. That's why even travel-wise, I know persons were surprised and it came up so nicely that the minister is traveling, but he traveled on business and brought home a forum. You know, it's different than just traveling. So indeed, it does have my utmost attention and priority. So there is some initial work. I do believe some of the work that has already started needs some revision and more text from stakeholders directly involved in the industry. So indeed, bringing the forum is of paramount importance and again reaffirms the need to have this urgently done in the interest of the country and regulating the gaming industry on St. Martin.
On Monday, during the stakeholders press conference in Oyster Bay, the question was posed to you and the Vice President of the collectivity, Ms. Damaso, regarding the budget for the joint promotion of the two sides. She said that it was not important to at least discuss a budget at this time, but was there at any time a budget on joint promotion for the two sides of the island discussed?
Thank you, Stephen, for your question. And of course, it's very important for me to go back to those initial remarks I made first and foremost. On Monday at the press conference for the stakeholders in the tourism industry, I made clear that $15,000 have been pledged from the CTO funds that was given to St. Martin to start with the joint efforts of the French side and Dutch side working together with the MOU. My colleague on the French side, Ms. Valérie Damasio, the Vice President of the collectivity and President of the Tourist Office, made clear that indeed for them they have pledged the same. Going forward, we both made clear that the budget really needs to be worked out. One, we also need to review what are some of the priority areas. And three, we want to look at, like I made mention at the press conference on Monday, some of the plans and projects we have and the priorities for that. One being, of course, the joint stakeholders tour that we want to do throughout the island. And so the need for a budget going forward is there, but there are some other priority areas on the ground works that we do need to do. So like both of us mentioned on Monday, the budget will be worked out in its entirety, and it's right now going to be under review quite soon.
Hey, Ma. How you doing? You busy?
I hear. Just paying some bills.
taking care of business. You know what it is?
I know, you're doing your online banking.
I don't have to stand in those long lines to pay bills. I can transfer when I want. I can check my account wherever. It's like the bank open 24/7. I even here checking the statement right now as we're talking. How's Miami?
Well, that's why I'm calling. I'm finishing up a few songs now, but I'm afraid that studio time might be more than I thought. And I was wondering if I could get some help with some funds, and I could pay you back as soon as I get back to St. Martin.
Let me check my account. How much you need?
I think 500 should be enough.
I can transfer it to you while online. Direct from me to you. No problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Ma. I'll get online with Viv now.
Alright, darling. You know who you're for?
I need to know who you're for. Contact Wib today for your complete personal online banking experience. Available for all mobile devices. The Wynwood Islands Bank, now your online banking partner in progress.
I think it's important for us to stop and reflect on this topic that is personal to me, who has a grandmother from Angola, or had a grandmother from Angola, whose great uncle was arrested for jumping a window on U.S. territories and helped them build their ports, but whose American-born children are ministers, pastors, and positively contributing to the U.S. Similarly, the successful economic recipe of St. Martin has a secret ingredient, which is the contribution of others. From the Chair of Parliament and MPs to ministers and their staff, from CEOs, CFOs, COOs to the cleaners, there are others involved in the shaping of us and the positions we hold. It is no secret that our border control system has had its challenges and many discussions about how to repair or address it. Many created this situation by not doing anything, while others try to create an image that is a free-for-all. We need to control our borders just like every other country. This topic is not unique to St. Martin, and it is hotly debated. Images of families being separated, people being put in cages, courtrooms, classrooms, and industries being affected by the choices we all make. We can't allow this to be used as a political tool to separate us, and we can't allow our emotions to cloud our decisions or try to manipulate people into believing that every problem we have is related to a foreigner. We must understand our role in the region and know that St. Martin is seen as a bright and shining island where dreams come true. So many are attracted to St. Martin that they would be willing to leave everything and everyone that they know to try to get to St. Martin and make their dreams come true. We must understand that we must understand what we have and not take it for granted. We must also protect what we do have. We must make the right decisions in the general interest of our country. Those are the two opening remarks that I wanted to make, and now I will go over to answering the questions, Madam Chair. The first question was posed by MP Rolanda Bryson. Is the joint plan of approach a new plan, or was it already in the pipeline before Hurricane Irma? The joint plan approach is a new plan which was initiated after Hurricane Irma. It is developed to and based on the underlying regeling Vestek Expense Toezicht, St. Martin, which was approved for St. Martin in December 2017. And there is also the legal basis to have this agreement, which would be under the Article 38 of the statutes. Why is it that the original FBO building on the airport, which was used for general aviation purposes, is now used for office spaces by law enforcement officers on the airport and not for providing services to passengers as it used to be? The FBO building is not in use by the law enforcement officers of the Ministry of Justice. Also, the Ministry of Justice is not responsible for the use and exploitation of the FBO building. This is to the discretion of the management of the airport. The Alpha team still have a small office space in that building, however, they will soon be moving out. Does a joint plan of approach interfere with St. Martin competitive edge in the region? And with the level of service St. Martin has to provide to keep people coming to St. Martin, especially those who travel by private jet. It does not interfere with St. Martin's competitive edge. It can only strengthen and position us as a very safe destination. Why do Eastern Europeans, particularly Russians, passengers who are in transit as of late, need a visa? Given St. Martin's hub function and limited amount of flights right now, we don't want to inconvenience our in-transit passengers by holding them in a cell if there's not a connecting flight on the same day. It is important that in the new plans of PGIA, the airport, that a sterile area for in-transit passengers is created. This has been communicated to the management of the airport. In general, when visas are required, they will have to follow the visa procedures. Are the ministry and its local Dutch partners aware that protecting our borders should not hamper or kill the local economy? Absolutely. The government has not received any official communication from St. Bart's or any other island in the region, and we are very keenly aware of the economic importance. The next question was asked about animated measures and the embassy in Washington, D.C. The processing of visa requests is based on the Visa Kingdom law, which has been mandated to the back office of the embassy in Washington, D.C. for Dutch Caribbean visas. Part of this process is an interview. However, entry or admittance remains a competency of the Ministry of Justice. Understanding St. Martin's reality, it is imperative that there is a synergy between the Kingdom partners, the Ministry of TIAD, and the Ministry of Justice. Questions of MP Christophe Emmanuel. Please explain what is meant by shrinking our borders and why we need Dutch assistance at our borders. Border controls are measures taken by St. Martin and hopefully the rest of the world as well to monitor its borders in order to regulate the movement of people, animals, and goods. After Irma, critical infrastructure like the airport and the harbors, which are the gateways to St. Martin, were severely damaged, causing us to become vulnerable to illegal immigration, illicit trafficking of drugs, and other organized crime, cross-border crimes. In addition, the training provided to current staff, it is necessary to have assistance at our borders. The training schedule is set up to train big groups at a time, which would mean having less staff in the operation. Because of this, the extra assistance is necessary to be able to continue the daily operations.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
Joint attendance at Above and Feet in Brazil and Argentina, which actually is an MOU from Copa Airlines between Anguilla, St. Martin, and St. Martin. And we're also working now towards having the MOU expanded. At this moment, the talks are between the three islands, but we have put it into the Airline Development Committee to discuss other islands joining that as well. The more the merrier, the more power we have when we go to these type of airline meetings or going to certain of these events and speaking to them. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, plans for 16 tour operators to become certified and accredited as part of the Royal Caribbean Cruise Line, which is a sustainable program. Mr. Johnson accompanied his cabinet together with the STB, Winair, and St. Martin Airport. We traveled to Saba. He mentioned that already. This is a series of islands that we will be visiting as part of the objective of strengthening our hub. And the next one will be St. Bart's, where we'll be doing that jointly with the French side as well. Tourism exit survey on the Dutch side has been finalized, which of course we will be sharing with the French side. Quota of 853 has been reached at the airport and 334 at the port of St. Martin. And this was in a collaboration with our stats department. You heard about the ongoing preparations for Carnival anniversary. Right now, we resumed in August the TripAdvisor campaign again. And we're resuming now in September. It started already, right? Expedia. So we're very excited to have the OTAs, cooperative marketing activities, in action again. KLM Cooperative Marketing Campaign. We've closed that deal, and that will be happening in September now, this month, with Deal Week sales campaign, so lower airfares, and we will be exposed on different buses with other destinations. And we have also a beachfront bargain hunt made from Magilla. Is that a series? If I'm not mistaken. But the Bargain Hunt. The Bargain Hunt, yes, is a series. So we'll be hosting one episode as well. You heard about the upcoming conferences. We will be attending Sea Trade Med with the Port of St. Martin, and the Port of St. Martin will be attending as well. And the CTO State of the Industry Conference, where also our junior minister will be attending. Just a few activities, I won't go, but these are some collaborations we had with Divi, because the New England Patriots were here for a week for the photo shoot, which was a success, large exposure. They were hosted both on the Dutch and French sides. I don't have to say that anymore. Just that is what's being done now. So